Hi, this is Ty, and I'm going to show you how to make it super easy to share content that you find interesting with your followers on social media using Feedly, Buffer, and essentially just your imagination. All right, so here's how we get started. And before we get started, I actually want to talk a little bit about why this is important. We're all super busy, and we know how important it is to have an online presence and how important it is to also share helpful content with our followers, right? We know that establishing a personal brand around a topic that you care about, something that you're passionate about or inspired by, or that's really helpful to your audience, can really help to solidify the way that people see you when they do searches about you or they look at your online profiles, for example, like Twitter or LinkedIn. So if people get a sense that you're sharing similar types of topics, then they're going to begin to brand you with that topic, and they'll also follow you if they find that content that you share helpful and inspirational. So that's why we do it, because it helps to build our brand, and it's helpful for the audience that we want to serve. So I wanted to give that background. First things first, you want to get started by following helpful, inspirational content that you can share with your audience. So the way that I do that is on Feedly. So Feedly is a content aggregator that pulls in content from blogs across the web that you enjoy. And this is a perfect way to get started with it. So I just go to feedly.com, and essentially you can sign in with your Google account. So that's the easiest way. And there are other ways, I think, too. Like you can sign in with other social media accounts, but I have this one connected to my Google account. So I'm automatically logged in here. Now, you'll notice in my Feedly account, I have content that I follow. So I have all these different categories that I follow, everything from advertising to online learning. These are all kinds of different topics that I care about, but also content that some of my clients care about as well. So I want to follow stuff on their behalf and keep up with what's going on in different industries for them. So as you can see here, all the different blog posts get pulled in. The latest posts get pulled in and categorized so that you can keep up with what's going on. I log into Feedly probably several times a week, um, sometimes almost once a day, each day, and I read it like a newspaper, right? So you can see here how you're going to find all the latest blog posts and also really helpful content that you want to share with your friends and also with your customers, clients, the audience that you're trying to connect with, right? So these categories you can actually create for yourself. If you wanted to add a category, you can absolutely do that. And you can sort by the different categories. You can see all of them, or you can say, hey, I just want to see everything about inbound marketing. So super helpful, right? To be able to kind of dig deeper or go broader if you'd like. It's really easy to add new content to your feed. If you already know the blog's URL, you can just pop it in here and then press the return key or enter key in order for it to search for the feed to the blog. Or you can search the pre-listed categories that they have here for blogs that you might be interested in. So for example, tech blogs. You can see here I've already added a couple, like The Verge and Engadget. There's one called Life Hacker that I haven't currently added. So let's say I wanted to add this. It's really as simple as clicking the plus sign and then choosing which collection you want to put it in. If it didn't fit somewhere, I could actually create a new category, but I'm just going to leave this in tech and I'm going to add it. Right, so this is now added to my feed, and then when I view anything about tech, it will also include blog posts from Lifehacker. So you can see here now, Lifehacker is in my tech blog category list. So this is the first stop in setting up your system for finding helpful content that you can share with your audience, right? The next step is to make sure that you have a social media sharing tool installed to do that. My tool of choice is Buffer app, but I also use a paid tool called Meet Edgar. And then I have also HubSpot, which is an all-in-one marketing tool. I'm going to focus on Buffer app because it's free. But if you start to get more advanced, or if you're running an agency, or you're doing something more sophisticated, you may want to look at other tools like HubSpot or Meet Edgar, or even Hootsuite is another example of a social sharing tool that you might choose to use. Okay, so here's how to get started with Buffer. First things first, you have to install Buffer app into your browser. And it's really simple to do. Buffer works with Chrome, Firefox, Safari. So, I mean, really whatever browser you want to use or usually use, Buffer app installs. It's really easy. I use Chrome. What I did was just Google Buffer app Chrome, and it took me to the Chrome store. Or you can go straight to the Chrome web store. Just Google Chrome store and search for Buffer. And you'll see here, it's the top result. Next thing you want to do is click Add to Chrome, right? And this process is really simple. It will add Buffer to your Chrome browser bar. So you can see here I have some things already added here, bookmarks, and then I have my installed applications. This is Buffer app. So once you have the stack symbol in your browser, it shows that you have Buffer app installed successfully. Okay, so these are all the extensions that I have added for Chrome. Right here, I have this one already added. Okay, cool. So next thing you want to do once you have Buffer installed is configure it to your liking. So this is the inside of Buffer. They have a free option, which is what I'm currently doing because I have other paid options that I use, but you can always upgrade if you want to, and you would upgrade if you have other people who maybe are sharing the account with you, if you want to do more sophisticated things as well. In Buffer, you can set up a schedule for posting. So you can schedule content to go out several times a week. And I'm hoping you're now seeing the power of using a tool like this. What this means is that you can schedule all of the content you want to go out for the next week or even the following couple weeks all in one sitting, right? So I like to set this up and also not necessarily overload it with content because you want to have fresh content, but at a minimum, maybe coming in and setting up blog posts like to cover 1 or 2 weeks is good. And this is a good supplement for any original content that you also want to share from your own blog or from your own social posts, right? So keep in mind, it's good to share other people's content, but you also want to combine your social feed to also include content that you've personally written as well, right? And then you also at the same time want to engage and have conversations with other people on social media. So this is just one element of it to get you started. Just keep in mind you want to be doing other things as well with your social media account. All right, so we've set up a posting schedule here. You could do a new one if you wanted to. This one posts 3 times every Monday and Wednesday. I'm not going to change it. I don't use this one as often as Meet Edgar and HubSpot at this point, but this is a great starter tool. All right. So what I want to do is once I have this configured and I have also my social media accounts connected. So this is my personal Twitter account, LinkedIn, and then we've got some client accounts, which we'll ignore for the time being. But you can connect your personal accounts here very easily. Just add an account and it very easily can connect to your social channels, right? Including even Pinterest now. This must be new. This one I don't think was available before. So if you upgrade, I think you can connect to all of these, but you can definitely do Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and go from there. So go ahead and follow the steps to connect your profile or account. And then once you have the stack set up and your schedule set up as well, you are ready to go. I'm not going to go over all the features in here, but definitely explore inside Buffer and configure it to your liking. Okay, so now back over to Feedly. So let's say I log in here one day and I want to find content that I'd like to share with my audience, right? So let's say I want to share something about inbound marketing. So let's see if we can find something really interesting to share here. Okay, maybe 5 online assets that are worth your time. Maybe Expert's Guide to Marketing Through the Sales Cycle. So essentially you want to read through these and kind of make sure that you also read the blog post first to make sure that you agree with it, you inspire by it, and you think it's going to be really helpful for your audience. So let's take a look at this one. This one is definitely intriguing me. The buying formula. Here's exactly how your customers make purchase decisions. That's interesting to me. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm actually going to go straight over to the website. This is a HubSpot blog, right? So I'm going to read it first because obviously you don't want to post something you don't agree with or that you think is not helpful, right? So this article is arguing that every purchase decision is based on current dissatisfaction, future promise, cost plus fear, right? So maybe this is something that I want to share with my audience. It looks good and it might be helpful to the folks who maybe read on my social channel. So it's as simple as doing the following. Now that I have the stack installed, I can just click it, and that will populate the composer tool, right, from Buffer. So the buying formula, here's exactly how your customers make purchase decisions. Right. Okay. So you can see here, this is a basic blog post, and I can choose to share it to different social channels. So for example, posting to my personal Twitter, and I need to refresh this because my picture isn't showing, but you get the idea, right? For Twitter, I maybe want to add a hashtag or two, like inbound marketing, maybe sales, right? Because those two audiences might be interested as well. And then I can click add to queue. And so this adds it to my queue to share it. I could have changed the title if I wanted to as well. And the other thing to remember is you don't want to send the exact same social post that you're sending to Twitter to LinkedIn. You want to tailor your content to each social network. There are best practices for each one. One of the other things I want to highlight is that you can highlight quotes from the article to share as well, and get those shared into Buffer. So let me see if I can find a quote or something that might be helpful. Like, here's a quote. Whenever you make a purchase decision, either in business or your personal life, you do so in the hope of creating a better existence. Okay, that's an interesting quote. Let's try the Buffer stack again. So I'm going to go ahead and click Buffer. And you look how it just populates the quote straight in. Right? So this might be something I would share maybe on Facebook or LinkedIn as a helpful article. So you can see how when I click to LinkedIn, it automatically populates this picture, which I could change if I wanted to, and the title and a little preview, right, along with the quote. So that's why you kind of want to optimize each social channel, because it doesn't pay to share the exact same thing on each one. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my queue as well. And so you see how that adds to Buffer. So these blog posts will get pulled into my schedule automatically and be ready to share in an automated way as the week goes on. And this is one way that you can keep your social profile going and not going dark, or get into a situation where you post 1 month and the whole next month you don't post at all. So this is a perfect way to get started. Keep in mind that this is only part of what you need to be doing to build your social media presence. You also want to be writing your own content and also having conversations and engaging with other people. So this is just part of the process, but I'm hoping that you find it helpful. And if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to connect with me. You can just tweet at me at Tyrona, and I'm happy to answer any questions or share any other tips with you. All right. Thanks. Take care. Have a great day, and I hope that you find this helpful.